All right, all right. Shabbat shalom. How everybody doing? Gonna get started in just a moment. Right now, waiting on someone to come in. While I'm at it, hope everybody's having a Barak day, a blessed day, Baruch, however you want to say it. And today's message is gonna be about the old covenant and the new covenant, part one. Today we're mostly gonna focus on the old covenant. Then part two, we're going to be focusing on the new covenant. We're going to see, we're going to see in this teaching how what the old covenant is about, you know, bring you up to speed as best we can. So give me just a moment. Waiting on T1 the Lone Wolf. Okay, while I'm waiting on him, I'm going to go and start off with a scripture. You know, since we discussing the old covenant first, some people they like to say testament. You had one testament, Moses, or covenant that were given to him by the Most High, and you have the next testator or the next testament or covenant that came through Yeshua or Yahusha, Yahushua, Jesus, whatever you call it. But I'm gonna go to the book of Exodus, chapter 20, and I'm gonna start reading at verse 1 and go all the way down to verse 18. Exodus chapter 20, verse 1, and going all the way down to verse 18. This is King James Version. And it reads, And Yah spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Verse 6, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. 6 days shall thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, and in it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. So we see here, don't nobody's supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, doing any work. Not even somebody working for you, not even your animals. Now, honor, verse 12, honor thy father and thy mother. Wait a second. I got to go back to verse 11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. You see, that's a special day, the seventh day. Honor thy father and mother, that thy days be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery. That word kill, you know, can be translated, thou shalt not murder anyone, meaning kill somebody for no reason. Not, you know, like you defending yourself or something, just murdering somebody. Thou shalt not commit adultery, verse 14. Verse 15, thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. I mean, lie on your neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy brother's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. That word covet is just meaning to desire strongly or desire greatly what someone else has. Okay. And verse 18, and all the people saw the thunderings and lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. So we know this right here. This is when the Most High gave, as some would call it, the Ten Commandments to Moses. That was a part of the covenant that the Most High gave to the children of Yasharal, you know, because this the covenant. These laws that's given in this covenant is what they must keep. And we're going to go now to Exodus chapter 24, verse 1 through 8. Exodus 24, Exodus 24, chapter 1 through 8. Verse 1. And he said to Moses, come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh. Neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord has said will we do. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offer burnt offerings and sacrifice peace offerings unto oxen unto the Lord. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that the Lord hath said will we do, and be obedient. Verse 8, and Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. Now, as we see right here, I read chapter 24, and I wanted to start it off with Exodus 20 to see to show you some of the words that he gave, because it started from chapter 20 and it went all the way up to chapter 23. It was 20, 21, 22, and 23. He was giving laws. Then we get to 24, and then it explains how this was the new covenant. I mean, the old covenant, Salakia. This the old covenant that the Most High had made with his people. And in this covenant, which we know that that this in this covenant that the children of Israel had certain duties and requirements that the Most High, had for them. He requires certain things. They were requiring certain things for him to be to protect them and bless them and do all this and that. So this covenant, or this contract, this that he made with the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, they were to honor the covenant by keeping his commands. As one teaching, we said that this was just like similar to a marriage, you know what I'm saying? So this what designates that that they are his people by them keeping these commandments of this covenant. This is what the old covenant consists of. Also, in the old covenant, they had to do sacrifices of animals. They had to sacrifice bulls, sheep, goats, rams. Sometimes it was 2 turtle doves. It was, these were requirements for the people to cover their sins or to atone for their sins. Their sins was still there, but he will forgive them because he gave the commandments and they was written down. In the old covenant, the commandments written down on tablets of stone. But in the new covenant, that's going to be different. It's not going to be tablets of, commandments written on tablets of stone. It's going to be written in their hearts. But let's go to Exodus chapter 19, verse 5. Exodus chapter 19, verse 5. And it reads, now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And let's go, might as well read 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. That's why Most High was talking to Moses at this time. He was saying, you're going to be a peculiar treasure to me. And we know peculiar means strange, or it's something different than the rest of the people. He required Israel to be set apart, different. Strange. I mean, another word for peculiar is weird. We know that we can't be like everybody else. We're supposed to be different. And we're gonna be, and he considered them a treasure in his eyesight. Something precious above all people. So it was different than everybody else. He chose our ancestors to be something different than everybody else. We were supposed to be the people to show the other nations how you supposed to live, how you supposed to do things, not live a life of wickedness and all that. We supposed to live a righteous life. But we the people of the Elohim. We the people of Yahuwah or Yahweh, whichever one you prefer. God, Creator. I say Yahuwah. Okay, and we're supposed to be His people, so we supposed to be cut different than everybody else. Okay, yeah, back to what I was saying. We supposed to be cut different than everybody else. Now, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 13. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 13. We're going to start at verse 12. And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude, only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even the 10 commandments, and he wrote them upon 2 tablets of stone. Okay, you see right here, he reinstating in the book of the law that, hey, this the Most High wrote these laws down on the tablets of stone for y'all to see and understand these 10 commandments, that this is what you got to keep. Now let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 9. And it reads, know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. Now, just reinstating about the covenant. Keep the commandments. You got to keep the commandments, because this what the Most High require. And 1,000 generations go by. Y'all still got to keep these commandments. This what I require of you. I'm going to show you mercy. I'm going to show you love. I'm going to esteem you above all the nations of the earth, because you're my peculiar treasure. You're going to be better than everybody else. You know what makes you better? Because I chose you. I put my name on you. And I called you out from all the other nations, made you special. Therefore, if you special, you got to keep my commandments to show everybody else you different from them. This is what the old covenant consists of. This is what the old covenant consists of. But, you know, as I know that people didn't keep the commandments, they kept breaking them and doing things they weren't supposed to do. And it caused the Most High to say, all right, I got to put the judgment on them. Get them back facing toward me and doing what they supposed to do. Then the people, when they start going through troubles and trials, as we going through now, same way our ancestors went into captivity, we in captivity right now, even though you have certain people they don't understand. But let me explain in this way. Name any nation that came out of captivity, but they were enslaved. This what makes us different from everybody else. Every nation on this planet that ever went into slavery, they went back home, they started rebuilding their nation, and they didn't stay where they was held captive. They went back to their heritage, keeping their customs again like they used to, and they even kept speaking their own language. They went back to speaking their own languages. Who do you name one people on this earth besides us that went through slavery and forgot everything about our culture? We don't speak our native tongues anymore. We don't even have we don't even have understand where we from. We don't know what city it was, what state. A lot of us don't even know our granddaddy name. And then speaking of a name, we don't have our ancestors' names. We have the names that come from Europeans. I'm sure if you go back hundreds of years ago, nobody on the continent, or nobody go on back a couple thousand years back to the land, back to the homeland. Nobody had European names. None of us had no European name. None of us spoke English or Spanish or Portuguese or whatever, German or French, or all these different languages that were put upon us from captivity. And nobody else on this planet that happened to. Nobody else went into slavery, came out of slavery, but they still speaking the oppressor's language. Nobody else went into slavery, got out of slavery, but they never went back home. Nobody else got out of slavery and then still don't have a homeland, still are in the lands of their captivity. Even though you got some that are lie and say, well, we was already here. If we were already here, I can't nobody answer this question. And I'm gonna pose this question. If a lot of our people were already here in the United States, where are the markers of it? Why can't nobody speak that ancient tongue? Why there are no relics proving that? So it's stupid. If we were already here in the United States or any other places where we were enslaved or brought here in captivity. No, we was already here. Why are we speaking English here? Why we can't remember none of our ancient tongue here? Why we can't go and prove, excuse me. Shalom, brother.
Shalom, shalom. How you doing?
Shalom. I would just well to bring you up to speed to what I recently came from. Uh I came from Exodus 20, 1 through 18, to explain the law that was given by Moses. Then I went to Exodus 24, 1 through 8, and show how this was the covenant that was given to Israel and by the Most High. I had spoke out of Exodus 19 and 5, Deuteronomy 4:13, and Deuteronomy 7 and 9. And I was just discussing for clarity, I was speaking on captivity, us being in captivity in our land. And I had posed a question. I said, if our people were already here and didn't come here on slave ships, why can't any of us prove through artifacts, through language, through any kind of cultural situations that we were already here?
Khan.
And I stated that every race that ever went into slavery and left out of slavery went back to their homeland.
Khan.
They still speak this. They still speak their same ancient language. They still worship their same ancient gods. They still remember there's certain names they can use. We are the only people on earth came out of slavery. So that's what they say. We came out of slavery, but don't have a homeland.
Khan.
If you want to speak about the people they call Native Americans, they in their homeland. If this is they native, they can still speak their languages. The Hispanic, the Latinos, however you call. Oh, but the
I
Hispanics,
apologize. Go ahead.
okay, Hispanics, they still have their homeland. Some of them don't even know Spanish because that's the oppressor's language. But they speak some of a lot of them, because I've been to Mexico before. And some of those people speak their ancient language. But we come from here, as some say, but don't remember none of our ancestors. None of us know anything but English. Don't none of us have, I mean, if that's the case, we the dumbest people on the planet. Cause this the only people, we the only people on earth that has been discontinued from their heritage.
Khan.
So there's no way possible that we came from here. We had to come from on the other side of the world and been here hundreds and hundreds of years. The only way for us to forget. But
well,
enough of me talking.
as you look into the Bible, you learn about the so many different captivities, and then we've even been in captivities more than once with certain nations of people, like in Egypt. We've had more than one captivity, and
Right.
and then you deal with the Persians, and you think about Rome and the Grecians and different things like that. So many different captivities have led us to be across, and not to mention this last captivity that we've been in, just dealing with the transatlantic slave trade. You got to understand, people was taken from
Right.
one place and scattered, across the surrounding lands of the seas and things like that.
Right.
So now here it is. You know, you got all these things happening over centuries and centuries of time, which this ain't just been 1 century. This has been multiple centuries of time. Yes, people have lost they've lost their identity, for a lack of better terms. They've lost who they are, what they are, and what they do. And here, this is why where we at today. That's one of the reasons why, like, I look at a lot of people look at ancestry.com, and if you go, or they go to these little platforms similar to that, and they look up their ancestry, man, you probably have family all around the world, or you may have descendants and people who you didn't even know could have been in your family all around the world. How is that possible? That's because our people have been scattered. Other people have migrated and moved from country to country, or moved from one area to another, maybe due to war, maybe due to whatever, better to have a better situation. That was not the situation for our people, though. Our people was
Come.
taken from a place and was moved to another, not by will, not by migration. Especially here in America, we talk about how blacks migrated, but they say, well, blacks migrated. Well, where did we migrate from? People migrated from the South to the North. In America, wasn't nobody migrating across countries. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no great migrations like that. So our people,
Right.
when we have been moved from one land mass to another, one continent to another, one country to another, it has basically been through slavery.
Right. Right. Right.
Yep.
So
And
it
this
would
is and
make
this is something,
sense.
actually, you say you read Deuteronomy already?
Uh, uh, I read two scriptures out of there, 4 and 13, I think, and 7 and chapter 7, verse 9.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, the big thing, this is one of the reasons why we go into, a lot of people kind of look at Israel, and they talk about how we go into the Old Testaments and things like that. But a lot of these Old Testaments we look at and we understand how it is that um our people have been scattered and things like that. Like, you read in Deuteronomy 28, and it talks about, matter of fact, I'm gonna get that real quick.
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 28 and 19, if that's okay. And I'm gonna just kind of
Good.
jump through a little bit from scripture to scripture. But if you look at 19, it says, "Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out." That's like a twofold. Like, you can go into a place, or you can leave from a place and be cursed. We was cursed coming out of one captivity, going into another captivity. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So now that's that right there. That lets you know that, we had already been sitting in situations where we were learning the customs of other people, or learning about the history of other people, and making it our own. Really, for lack of better terms, we made it our own, because
Right.
we were taken away from our own customs. This is something that, like, today I had a class, and I was talking about that in our class, how like, we coming up on the Feast of Purim, and
Right.
the destruction of Nicanor, and you read about, and you can read about this in Esther, how the Israelites in that time, they wasn't taking on the name of Israel. Some of them were, but there were some that didn't. You see what I'm saying? So now here it is. We deal with that to this day. You got people that take on the name that America has given them, or that Great Britain has given them, or that Africa has given them, or the Australians have given them, right? And they don't take on the name of Israel. Okay.
Right.
So that's one of the ways that we lose who we are. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, you look down, it says in verse 20, it says, the Most High shall send upon the cursing, vexation, and rebuke. We go through that right now. We get vexed by the different policies and things that's going on. People curse us all the time. I can't stand you. Different bywords. I'll just say that.
Right.
A lot of rebuke. And then check it what this says. It says, "In all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereas whereby thou hast forsaken me." So because our
Right.
people have forsaken the Most High, they have forgotten who they are, and everything that we set our hands to do, a lot of that stuff gets destroyed.
Yep.
You look at what is that called? Black Wall Street.
Right.
That was destroyed. You look at a lot of these different, and this that's just one issue. But you look at a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different things that Israelites who, they may or may not have known they were Israelites at the time. When you put your hands for it to do something, it is being destroyed. These are the things that we know on how we are cursed, and that's how we've been put into captivity. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now look, check this out. It says, I'm gonna jump down a little bit. It says, verse 23, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thy feet shall be iron. Those are the shackles. Those are different things that we have to deal with. This is not something that we deal with just in America. This is stuff that's being dealt with all over the place, starting with slavery, being chained up and beaten down, and everything that we put our hands towards is destroyed. You see what I'm saying? So now
Right.
here it is. That's just another, and this is all just talking. We just talking about deep detail in Deuteronomy. But now as you move forward, like if we go, let's if you don't mind, can we go to Psalms real quick?
Go ahead.
I want to go to Psalm 83 real quick, and I want to go to verse 2.
Con.
All right, it says in Psalms 83, verse 2, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Okay. So that's the first issue right there. A lot of our people don't know who their enemy is. We take on the customs and the traditions of our enemies, man. And then what we say is, well, no, we not in captivity no more. We've been here before. No, you're
Yep.
a captive of a captive at this point. If
Exactly.
you see what I'm saying? You're the slave of someone who was a slave or who has
Mm-hmm.
just become enslaved. You see what I'm saying? if
Right.
we if we think about how the Romans and maybe the Persians got into wars, if they won, now those Persians have been basically POWs, which in light is called prisoners of war. Well, if you was
Right.
a slave to that prisoner of war, guess what you are? You're now a slave to that slave. You may have now
Mm-hmm.
freedoms that you did not have under that slave master, but that didn't change the fact that you're a slave. You just have a new slave master, right?
Right.
So now here it is. The enemies have made a tumult. What's the tumult? That's the trap. That's the trap
Mm-hmm.
right there. Verse 3, it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones. First of all, who is the hidden ones? Is Israel. The
Right.
people who don't even know who their own nationality is. They don't know their own customs. They don't know their own, like how you said earlier, the God that you serve. You don't know your own traditions, your own basically holy days or holidays, right?
Right.
And it says that they have come against these people and consulted against the hidden ones. So we need to find out who are these enemies who have all come together, because we see that, like, today we talk about how all these great powers are coming together and ready for war. But all right, China is into it with America, which is into it with Russia, which is into it with this person, with that's into it that these people, the French, the British, all of these people joining in. But all of
Right.
these people sit at a table together in the United Nations.
Exactly.
They all sit at a table together. So what are they talking about if they supposed to be enemies? They're consulting right here. This is what 83 is saying. We have consulted together against the hidden ones. And look at what verse 4 says. It says that they that said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Our people can't even remember that they Israelites. You see what I'm saying? And if
Right.
you look at all the nations of the world, who's the main ones that don't have a nation? Like you said, when people get out of captivity, they're able to go back to their own land. They're able to do their own nation, serve their own gods, do their own customs, eat what they want to eat and drink what they want to drink,
Exactly.
celebrate the things they want to celebrate. So now here it is. What nation has been cut off from even being a nation? It's to the point where the so-called African American man or black man or whatever you wanted, the Negro, and even
Yeah.
other nations of people, they have been cut off so much from being a nation. You can't even, they don't even, like, you don't even have gangs that's in order nowadays. You can't even be the gang, the nation of a gang, and it be in
Right.
order. You see what I'm saying? That's how
Yep.
that's how much diverse things have happened to now where we can't even come together with that. Now check this out. They did that so that the name of Israel would be no more in remembrance. All of these
Right.
things, you being scattered across the world, you thinking that you've been here before and all this before somebody else came. Look,
Mm-hmm.
if I take you from China and bring you to America, and then the Chinese people come and invade America, and now the so-called Caucasians is now prisoners of war to the Chinese. You still a slave. You was here already, but you was still in slavery. You see what I'm saying? You was
Right.
enslaved to the Edomites. Now you are enslaved to Asians.
Right.
That didn't change the fact that yeah, you was here before. You was still a slave though. You still don't know
Exactly.
that you Israel. Check this out.
Right.
Verse 5, it says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. So now all of these people are confederates. You see, and one of the things I talk to people about, when you look at Israel, we deal with 12. It's always about 12. You got 12 walls or the 12 gates or the this or that. But when you're dealing with these
Right.
other nations, like let's say you look at the Confederate flag, how many stars you see on that?
13.
13. If you look at different other nations of people who don't even have nothing to do with maybe America, like you may look at the Chinese and different ones like that. All of them have this, even like the Arabs, they got the 13 princes, or they got 13 this, 13 that. All of these things are symbolic because these other nations know what's going on. It's just all a
Exactly.
part. It's all a part of the big what do you call it? The big scam, if you ask me. I don't know another word
Mm-hmm.
to call it.
The big
Delusion.
delusion.
Yeah, the big delusion. That's what it is. It's a big delusion. And it ain't meant for them. It's meant for us. It's meant for
Right.
us. How do we know this? You look into verse 6. It says the tabernacles of Edom. That's the so-called, I don't even want to say who they are. I'm going to just say the tabernacles of Edom. And the Ishmaelites of Moab, of the Hagarenes. So now these people right here, if you look at all four of them, they didn't either
Right.
been to war over and over with each other, or they going through war right now. These are the same people who warned back then, and they so-called trying to go through war right now. You thinking it's about America and China and Russia and all this and the Arabs and the this and the that and it ain't about that. That it's all a part of the delusion. It's been happening since back then.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then it says that even the children, if you look at Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, Asher also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. You see what I'm saying? So now
Right.
here it is. That's your United Nations. And then some people be like, well, Russia and them, they ain't part of the United Nations. They all a part of the same thing, man. They all up there shaking hands. They're doing the same thing. Okay? Because what they want to do is cut us off from being a nation. What happens if we become a nation and we do all these things that the Most High have for us to do?
And I can tell you this, don't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
If you look at the symbol of every European nation, it's an eagle.
That you're absolutely right.
As swift as the eagle flies.
That's in Deuteronomy 28. We go back to Deuteronomy. That's 28 and what, 68?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's in Deuteronomy 28 and 68. I'm gonna get that one time if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So that they see that, because a lot of people try to say, well, you know, that Bible not right. We've been here all this time and this and this and that. Everybody ain't been in slavery. Well, I think that the Bible has come too close for it to be a lie.
Exactly.
Okay. Give me a second. As swift as the eagle flieth.
Right.
Okay. Give me a second. I'm about to find that right now. I know it's in Deuteronomy. And it's towards the end of it. It wasn't 68. It's actually 49. Here it is.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 28 and 49. And look, before we even go there, let me do this. I'm gonna go to verse 46 and then work my way down, if that's okay.
Bet.
Verse 46, it says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thine seed forever. So that means our children is gonna have to deal with these problems. That's these curses that's gonna be overtaking us. Us thinking that, you know, we done been in one place and we not knowing that we Israel and going through all these different captivities to the point where we don't even understand the difference between captivity and oppression, right?
Right.
So now here it is, 47, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. We're not trying to serve him for the abundance of all things. We don't even have it in our heart to do it. Well, most people, our people. Verse 48, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall bring against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. How do we do that? Well, let's start off with the hunger and the thirst. You have to serve the enemies. You can't, if you don't work for the enemy, then you're gonna have to get Section 8, or you're gonna have to get Link, or you're gonna have to get all these different things. And guess what's gonna happen? They're going to get all in your business, and they're going to tell you there's certain rules to the game in order for you to keep these different things. You want Section 8? You want to get that house because you can't get that job? You're going to get Section 8. Guess what can't be in the house? That man can't be in the house.
Exactly.
Let's say you do got a good man that's in the house. They're going to find a way to put them shackles and them bonds on him. They're going to find a way to do these things. And it's red, and you see it later on. In nakedness. You serve the enemy in nakedness. Once upon a time, you had to serve them in nakedness by being naked and, you know, doing these different things. I don't know if I could say it right here, but, you know, you had to, you know, fornicate with these people, your slave masters. Now here it is, you got the music industry that's got, and the movie industry that has men and women serving in nakedness. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in want of all things. You want that business, you still got to go on. You still got to serve somebody to start your own business. You want that house or that land, you got to be under somebody to get that. It's rules to this. And watch what it say. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Okay, so you still got that yoke of iron. You're still enslaved. You get that house, you get your own business, you got your own land, you doing this, you still enslaved. You're not being oppressed. Your oppression is not as bad. This is where people get it mixed up.
Because if I to interject, in order to own that land, you got to go and get a deed from them. You buying some land they don't even own and get a deed, and if you don't pay your property tax, they can take it. You go and get a business. Right. You got business tax, and you got to get a permit to build that business. And then you got to pay taxes on it.
Right.
You can have your own garden, and they can tell in certain places they can tell you, well, you can't have a garden.
That's
You
right.
can't even have your own filtration system to have water because nope, you can't even catch rainwater.
Yep,
You
you can't
know,
catch.
th-
Yep.
these people, if people can't see we still in slavery, I don't know what to tell them.
Well, if you look at it, even when you look at 49, just to close off on what you were saying, it says, "The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand." That goes right back to your eagle, Hondo. How you were saying, you look
Right,
at all these different nations, how they deal with these different birds, and all of them is dealing with or these they deal with these different flags. I mean, and all of
right.
them is dealing with the eagle. And see,
Yep.
if you look at it, we didn't understand their tongue at once upon a time. But now that's the
Hmm.
reason why. This why you say early. You said you think that just because you speak in English, you was here already. No, they made you quit using your own native language, and now you have to learn theirs. We got people
Right.
out in the UK right now and in Paris and all of that. They speak Ebonics. They live in the hood. They go through some of the same things we go through right now, but we in America.
Exactly.
And guess what they speak? They speak the language of their they captives, who was the enemies.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't none of them remember, none of them remember their ancient tongue. But
Con.
you can take, like I was saying at first, you can take somebody that is so-called a native or so-called a Mexican or whatever. A lot of them still remember they native, they ancient tongue. Some of them can't
Con.
even speak English
Con.
or Spanish. You know what I'm saying, Spanish. But how come we the only people
Well, if you think about
on the
Spanish, the
planet?
Spanish is something.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, Salakia, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I see where you going.
Well, just like you were saying like how these people are speaking Spanish. Spanish is really the word of the Spaniards. And if you know anything about the Spaniards, you know that they were ones who took people into captivity. So
Exactly.
if you are speaking Spanish 9 times out of 10, especially most people who are Hispanic, right?
Right.
If you are Hispanic, then 9 times out of 10, you were held captive and you were made to speak the language of the Spaniards, which is Spanish.
Yep. And and the thing is though, like I was saying, some of them still remember their native tongue. We are the only people on this planet, there's so-called black people that's been scattered all around, all over the planet that don't remember our native tongue, but wherever we at, we speaking their language. We
Con.
don't remember, we can't remember our name, our ancestors' names or anything. We we all got their names, but we the only people like that on this planet. But and so is it safe to say to you that we did not come from the United States, but we was scattered all around these different places?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And
Right,
like I was saying, I was talking. Had a class today, and we was talking about the Purim and the destruction of Nicanor because that's coming up pretty soon,
right,
March 5th. And dealing with the Purim, the Purim is actually, um, that's really the purge. That's what Purim is. It's the purge.
mm-hmm,
And we watched the movie The Purge. I've watched this movie called The Purge that they came out with. And when you read the
right,
book of Esther, you learn how they even came up with that movie called The Purge, and you start seeing similarities, right?
Right.
So in this book with Esther, it's about this woman who was an Israelite who was a captive, and she had been underneath the Persian Empire so long till well, this is before the Persian. She was with the Medianites and all of that for so long that when the Persian Empire came and the dude who was running it, everybody was calling themselves at that time different diverse names. You see what I'm saying? Because at that time Persia was the big, they was like the superpower. Okay, at that time. I'd like to go into the book of Esther, chapter 2, if you can, just to prove a point. And I want to go to I want to go to verse 5, if that's okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay. It's okay. I was saying I want to read the book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 5, and I want to go down to 7, if that's
All right.
okay.
That's cool.
And just to give people an understanding on how serious captivity is with the Israelites, okay? Okay, because we got to understand that the people back then, before the Persians took over all the different countries they had took over in the different provinces, people were calling themselves Midianites and all of that. But then the Persians came about, they would have honestly said, oh, we've been here the whole time. We just finally went into captivity under the Persians. Well, you've been under captivity this whole time. You just had a new master. Now watch this. Verse 5. This is the book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 5. Now in Shushan the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. So this dude was of the tribe of Benjamin, and he knew who his elders was all the way to the third and fourth generation. Okay, verse 6, it says, "Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away from Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away." Do you hear that? Do you see what's going on in
Right.
that? This
Right.
is a person, this person, Mordecai, was carried away in a captivity, which was carried away in a captivity, which was carried away in a captivity, which was carried away in a captivity. That's four captivities being like, you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You're the slave of a slave. That's a slave of another slave. That's a slave.
Right.
Now look at that. Now here, look at what verse 7 says. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther. So basically, he brought up Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. And the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So now this woman who's Esther, she is basically an orphan to her cousin. She's a slave orphan. Do you hear me? She is a slave orphan. Her mother and her father is no longer in the picture. She is
Right.
a slave orphan to a slave who's a slave, who's a slave, who's a slave under a slave. Do you hear me, man?
Yeah.
Then I don't think people getting the understanding of what I'm saying. Just because these people have been here all this time, or even if they just getting here, somewhere down the line, Israel don't just start in one century, man. Israel been here for centuries and centuries and centuries. And
Right.
for centuries and centuries and centuries, we've been dealing with captivity after captivity after captivity after captivity.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So yes, people have forgotten who they are, what they are, their customs and different things like that. And this to the point where our people have now gotten so accustomed to captivity,
They
they
love it.
don't even want to take on their own customs anymore. They just, hey, look, we just gonna serve. You go to Mexico, man, they doing whatever they do out there. You go to China, they got the year of the dragon, the year of the rabbit, the year of the rat, the year to this, the year to that. They got their own holidays and things. We come out here to America, they got Independence Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all these different things. But all of these are customs of the enemies, the ones who sought to take us from being Israelites, to take the
Right.
name out of us. You got to remember, in what was that, the 1800s, 1700s, when we were speaking language, we came over here. They beat us for speaking our own language, and they beat us
Right.
if we could read theirs. So now you in a
Right.
very tight spot of understanding. You can't read, you can't talk your own language. You got to learn ours, but you can't learn it visually through word.
Right.
This is the reason why you got a lot of people to this day, they don't even understand the words they use. Some people use a word and don't even know that that word have a whole different definition.
You ask them, what does that mean? What
They
you
don't
just
even
said?
know.
What does it mean?
Yep. They don't
Oh,
know.
oh, and they get mad at you because you.
Yeah, they get mad because you called them out, but it ain't even that you calling them out. It's really that you trying to get them to understand. Look, these things have come to us because of these different captivities. They don't want you to have an understanding. There's this thing that people say. They say knowledge is power, right? So in order
Right.
for me to have power over you, I have to have more knowledge than you. I have to make sure that
Exactly.
you are not knowledgeable, right? So
Right.
if I'm feeding you bull crap and you just taking it, then I'm gonna always have power over you. I'm gonna always be significant and you will be insignificant. That's the situation that our people is in right now of all nations. You go to the Arabs, the Arabs have a place to go home to. When they
Yep.
come out here or they come anywhere throughout the whole world, they can always open up the Palestinians and them. They can open up them them Hindus. They can open up quickie marks. Them
Mm-hmm.
Arabs can open up gas stations and oil refineries. The Polish people can always open up one of them little hot dog shops and things like that,
Yep.
right? You got the Africans. They can open up little Ethiopian little joints and stuff like that,
Yeah. The
right?
restaurants.
Restaurant, or they can serve their little dashikis and sell clothes and animals and spears and stuff like that. These are things they can do and then go right back to their country and take it with them. Whatever they want, they can take it back with them. We're not even
Right.
going to talk about all the stuff that Europeans do. The Chinese, everything that you get is from China, dang near.
Yep.
And they are known for, like, China came known for the silk. So now here it is. You got people from a time where they was making silk to now they making damn near everything under the sun for all over the country.
Right. Silk
But what do our
Road.
people have a stake in other than we work for others? That's what we have to offer. We serve others. We work for other people.
Yep. Cause you look at this. If you look at you got you got a small amount of multi-millionaires and billionaires that are so-called, what you would call African Americans or Negroes or whatever, but they don't have ownership of whatever they got because if you look at you got basketball, you got entertainers and people in sports that have millions and millions and millions of dollars. Some of them are billionaires. Why why don't they start their own NBA? Why they don't start their own National Football League? Why they don't start their own? You'll see got a couple with a television, what's it called, a television station, but really I think that's in the restraints of what what the elites allow them to do. So and then you have, it's like we don't own anything, but no matter how much money our people have, we don't own anything. You look at Michael Jordan. He they call Jordans, but he don't own them.
That's absolutely right.
So, but other people actually own what they have.
That's right.
Anybody that try to actually own what they have, they end up coming up missing. It seems like to me. And we don't have any nation. We can everybody on earth, every nation on this planet can go and come here and live in the United States. they can go back home to a homeland, except us. Mexicans, they can go to Mexico. Uh, uh, Nigerians can go to Nigeria. Russians can go to Russia. Chinese can go to China. Japanese can go to Japan. But African American, where we go? It's crazy.
Wherever
We
we have to go. And even if you look at that, like a lot of people I don't even want to get too deep into that, but I'm gonna just say a lot of people talk about how there's this big debate on where do Mexicans stand in the scheme of things as far as with 12 tribes chart and things like that. But if you look at let's say you look at Australia, you hear about Australians, but you don't hear too much about the Aboriginals. You hear a lot
yep.
about Mexicans, but you don't know about that they have different demographics of Mexicans out there, like Mexicans with dark skin color that are oppressed.
Yeah,
See
you
what I'm
got
saying?
Afro Mexicans.
Right, you got Afro Mexicans. So now here it is. People try to say, well, they got cartels. They riddle with a lot of troubles and things like that. We got the mafia out here. That don't mean that we riddle with trouble. We got mobs and things out here. But what you're not understanding is, again, the difference between oppression, right,
Right.
and true slavery or bondage.
Right.
The people who are being oppressed, yeah, everybody can be oppressed. Yeah, the white man can be oppressed. But the whole thing about it is you have people that's really going through oppression and bondage. They have no way out of what's going on. They just got to deal with it. Our
Right.
people are those people. You
Yep.
got the Aboriginals. Those people are those people. You got the Afro Mexicans. Those people are those people. You got the Africans, the Afro United Kingdom. I can't think of the Afro, whatever they is out there, Afro Britain, or whatever they call themselves. Those people
Yeah.
are the people. You see what I'm saying? So now
Right.
here it is. We got to understand that, and that's the other thing. You got so many people that's like we got all these mixed races and all these different things that's going on, which is, you do what you do, but we have all these mixed races right now that now you look at a person and you thinking that because they look like you or they may be in a situation like you and they've gotten out of it. Oh yeah, we not slaves anymore. Oh, Michael Jordan, he came out maybe let's say he came out the hood. Oh, he's a millionaire now. He's working for the NBA and doing this and doing it. Look, man, it's just like Hondo say. The man don't even own his own shoe. He don't
Right.
own that Michael Jordan shoe. You see what I'm saying? When they was done, if anything would have happened to Michael Jordan, the NBA would have been done with him.
Right.
It will have been done. Look at Kaepernick. We look at Kaepernick. He took a knee. When the last time you heard about Kaepernick? You look at Kanye West.
Exactly.
Kanye West, a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire. Mark don't
Yep.
even want him to put his money in just all because he said, I'm a Jew.
Yeah.
That's all he said. You look at Nick Cannon. He said, "Oh, I'm an Israelite. I'm a Jew." He didn't diss. He didn't really diss nobody. He said, "I'm a Jew." They wanted to take
Right.
his show. That Wild and Out was his show. They was gonna take that
Mm-hmm.
from him. You got Dave Chappelle. They took his stuff. So now here it is. You got O.J. Simpson. He got into a situation with his wife, white woman. They took everything from him, including his freedom. See what I'm
Right.
saying? But now here it is. You got people like Epstein. You got people like I'm gonna just say these different names that's on the other side of the fence. They not getting punished like that. They getting away with murder before it's even thought to be punishment for them. And the punishment ain't even as steep.
Right.
I even think about the simple fact we look at how cops kill people every day. And they have to go through trials and different things. But we just had 5 cops who killed the black guy. They acquitted them cops so damn quick. Them cops got punished so quick. And our people is not seeing the differences. It's like all they see is similarities that ain't there. It's simulated. That's a part of the delusion. They have a
Right.
delusion that there are similarities when it ain't nothing but differences there.
Right. And the thing is, man, you know, the only way that these people that's under this covenant, the only way these people under this covenant gonna come out of this situation is for the Son of the Most High to bring us out. The Most High, y'all gonna have to bring us out of this captivity because we His covenant people, and well, I ain't gonna start talking about the new covenant to next, but we His covenant people,
I'm
and,
happy
and
you said that. I was just about to bring it up. Okay, so we'll talk about the new
yeah,
covenant. Yeah, we'll talk about that next
yeah,
episode.
next episode.
Okay.
But and this how it's gonna be. But you know what? Let me read these two texts, and then we gonna keep it moving before I forget about them. All right, Psalm 103, 17 through 18.
Psalm 103, 17 through 18.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And it reads, "But the mercy of the Lord is from everlasting to everlasting upon them that fear Him, and His righteousness unto the children's children." Verse 18, "To such as keep His covenant, and to those that remember His commandments to do them."
Con.
And the last one I want to say is was Exodus 34. Exodus 34 and 28. Exodus 34 and 28. And it reads, "And he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights." This talking about Moses. "He did neither eat bread nor drink water, and wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant of the 10 Commandments."
Con.
Okay, I was a little out of place, but
Well,
from
actually,
what
it's
I was
not out
supposed
of
to
place
quote
because
them, but
if you think about it, the reason why we in the situation we in, there was an agreement, and it's an agreement that
right.
was it's a blood oath. We been like people talk about all day how in Hollywood they make these blood sacrifices,
Oh
and
yeah,
people is dying and this and this and this and that. The first blood sacrifices, which was it wasn't. I ain't gonna say it was a blood sacrifice, but it was a blood oath. Was the oath that the Most High made with the children of Israel? Okay,
right,
he made a thing with the children. Look, if y'all deal with me, y'all gonna have everything in the world that y'all want. If you don't, you gonna want everything in the world and you'll never get it, and you're gonna be destroyed.
right,
And that's what we're going through right now. So that was right spot on. This was an agreement, a contract.
right,
And actually you bringing that up was very relevant because you can't get people to understand anything unless you talk to them about contracts and things like that. That's what our people understand. We understand that we got to sacrifice somebody. There's agreements that got to be made. So now here it is.
exactly,
There was an agreement that we made, our ancestors made with the Most High. We'll serve you and you protect us, give us everything we want. And this was his agreement to us. The day that y'all don't serve me, y'all gonna go into captivity, destruction, mayhem, and y'all gonna lose yourselves in it. Boom.
right.
Cut, dry, and simple.
And then you know what? Every time there's a covenant made, there's there, he gave the writings, but there was bloodshed.
Come.
There was bloodshed
Every time.
because after after Moses read all the covenant to the people, then he sprinkled blood upon all of them.
That's right.
And well, I almost got ahead of myself. But every time there's a
Was you gonna
covenant,
talk about what happened with Yahweh Shai?
yeah, I'm gonna
All
stop.
right.
I'm gonna
Okay.
go.
Yeah, because I was
I'm gonna
thinking
say
that
it
too. You know,
politically.
it's very. I hope
Yeah,
that the people that hear this, we need to bookmark this what you're saying because it's very relevant to the future. Go ahead though.
right. So after, I can go to it and I read it again.
Well, look, think about this. When the ancestor said the blood be on us and our children, I'm gonna just say that.
Right, right, right.
That was
Every
more than
time.
one case that happened. That happened in the Old Testament and in the New.
Right.
Con.
Let's
One
see.
was literal, one was verbal.
Right. And the thing is, that's the thing about the covenant. Anytime that the Most High made a covenant with the people, there was bloodshed
Con.
for that covenant. But
Con.
matter of fact, here it is, Exodus 24, verse 8. And well, I'm gonna start at 7. And he
Okay.
took the book of the covenant or agreement and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord has said, will we do and be obedient.
That's
And
the verbal
Moses,
agreement.
that's right.
Go
And
ahead.
Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on all the people and said, behold, oh, I messed up.
Go ahead.
And said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord have made with you concerning all these words. So you see, he sprinkled the blood on the people, and he said, this the blood of the covenant. So now I say this much, as same way in the old covenant, there had to be bloodshed. That it was the blood of the old covenant. Then there's going to be blood shed for the new covenant. I'll just say that much
Con.
to lead us into the next subject.
Con. I think the best thing to do at this point, just so that, because right now we so close to the new subject, you know, it'll probably be best to cut it off right there because,
Oh yeah,
you
that's
know,
why I'm cutting it off.
oh yeah, you're gonna have to because we'll start getting into a whole different, a whole different part of the show.
Right.
Yep. If you don't mind though, I'd like to take this time before you cut. Are you gonna cut completely out?
That was my last scripture for the day.
I hear you.
Oh yeah.
I want to take this time to just say, man, I just released. I just released my album, one of my albums. It's actually a 2-part album. This one is called The Kingdom Comes.
Yes, sir.
And I just released it, and we have another album coming out soon, which will be very soon. It's called The Kingdom Falls. And I just want to say, man, it has been truly a blessing to deal with all the artists that have that joined on to this album, and just helped out with the work of spreading the ministry, and
Right.
just getting that getting some music that's not secular. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Getting some non-secular music out here. I'm gonna tell you, it has always been an honor for me. I'm thankful that the Most High has allowed me to be able to work with you, Hondo. I love your music. I love the fact that you hopped on this album. The energy in the album is great. We're gonna be doing a listening party during the Feast of Purim, to make it really joyful and festive.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing a listening party March 3rd, and I know we're gonna be doing another class and things like that, and we're gonna be doing a live show. So on the show, I would like to do the listening party because we're gonna already be having this show anyway. That March 5th.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get you to set it up because you the technical man.
Oh, no problem.
You just set up the new and old covenant part 2, and then you set it up, and hey, we're gonna let it ride. We're gonna do what we do.
Sound good to me. But yeah, man, I want everybody to stay tuned for this show that we do every Saturday around 5:30 to 6. And stay tuned for the album release. We're gonna be doing a listening party. You got anything that's what about that the event that's going on in Mississippi, Hondo?
Oh, I got a couple things I need to say. Okay, we having the third annual Hebrew Mississippi Hebrew Fest, and we
Con.
having that June the 7th through the 9th. And you know, it getting greater and greater, man. You know, it's getting bigger and bigger every year. But this
Con.
time we're gonna have it in Gulfport, Mississippi. We're gonna be on the beach.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
It's beautiful.
And yeah, it's gonna be nice. And also let me bring out this couple albums. One I just did. It was me and Jeremiah Israel. It was called Last Days. That dropped in December, right before January, right at the
Con.
end of December.
Con.
9 tracks. Put our heart into it, man. And and then we got the Fishers and Hunters collaboration,
Con.
volume 1. This one that just dropped. And yours truly is on there. And man, it's so many people on there. Man, I thank you for being on there.
Thank you.
Then
Thank you.
you got Judah Son, you got man, there's a lot of people on there. Man, matter of fact, you got Maccabees, Memphis, you got Solemn Prophet, you got my guy
Oh yeah, shout out to Solemn Prophet, man. Hey, look, Hondo, I hate to interrupt. Please forgive me for this,
go
man.
ahead.
Man, you and Solemn Prophet went crazy on that Don't Want None remix, man. Y'all went crazy on that remix, man. I cannot wait for the people to hear it.
I can't wait to hear it again too.
Yeah, y'all went nuts.
All praises, man. I do what I can do. But yeah, who else? I'm trying to remember everybody. I don't want to forget nobody. Damn, say, man, you mention me. Reggie Kodesh. Then we got Shay Stone. Uh, uh, then you got my fellow Mississippian who's on there. You know what I'm saying? He on a few songs. You know what I'm talking about? Jamil the Trunk Rattler. Yeah. But got a lot of more people gonna be on the next one. You know what I'm saying? I might, if I miss somebody's name, do not get mad at me. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was a man. I think it's a pretty solid album. That's what everybody say. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna keep doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Con.
This too, trying to drop it around May.
I'm excited about this new album you got coming out, which you got me on, man. I'm excited to get out here in the studio a little bit heavier. It was I ain't gonna lie, man. It was a real rough time getting this one album out. It took about a
Right.
year, probably a year or more or longer, to get this album out. There was so much stuff going on. I had situations with my dad,
Yeah.
and his health, and just so many things. It seemed like Hasatan was just nonstop busy, but I managed to be able to get through. And the team, they worked with me, man. Different members of the French Gang Blue Ribbon Army family was going through
Yes,
what they
sir.
go through. And, just us being brothers trying to be there for each other, it was a lot. And we managed to get this thing off the ground. We got the second album coming soon. 2 more. We got like 3 videos coming out pretty soon. It's about to be
Ooh-wee.
ridiculous, man. I want to thank the people that's Ray Rich. His name is Ray Rich. And he's an Israelite videographer. I'm planning on working with him on a couple videos. If there's other people out there in the Israelite community that do music videos, I want to work with you all too. This is the time. And I really want to do something big for the kingdom of Israel, man, for the kingdom of the Most High, and for the
Right.
will of the Most High.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But oh yeah, I want to mention this too. Me, Judah son, and Jeremiah got a project we working on too. That's about to drop. We had been working on it for really about 2 years now. We gonna go and finish it up and drop it too. Then in the future, look forward to Hondo and T1 the Lone Wolf dropping one.
Con.
Yeah.
Hey, it's gonna be lit too, man. The energy is
Yes,
gonna be
sir.
crazy in this album, man.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
too excited. Too excited.
We've been doing a lot of music, ain't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, you gotta
Yeah.
understand, man. The the powers that be right now, they've been flooding us with so much secular work. A lot of people don't realize that this music is work in itself, man. You know, a lot of
Right.
people, they may think that this ain't work, but this work can be just as hard as going out on the streets teaching or going and having a ministry, because the
Oh
simple fact, we're
yeah.
putting time, energy, money, and effort into this. And we
Back.
combat against people like we going against people like Drake, Lil Wayne, all of these different people in this
Oh
music
yeah.
industry, because those are the people that our people. You got Beyonce right now got songs out, people
Right.
listening to her. So we got women that's in this truth right now. Like I know Faith in the Fruits of the
Faith in
Spirit,
Israel.
Faith in Israel. You got what's the one girl's name? Sister Judah.
Right.
You got a lot of these people we out here combating against these people who putting out their wickedness. So, give us
Right.
some, give us a little bit of pat on the back or something. It's not
Yep.
easy trying to stay relevant and trying to stay in tune and get and grab the attention of the masses when they already attending to the wicked things that's of this world. So when we come out
Yep.
here and we doing this music, ain't nobody, we don't have contracts, we don't have labels that then signed us and they doing all this pushing our stuff. We literally do this um
All on our own.
all on our own, man. So it's work, man. It's work. This kingdom work is serious.
Right. Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I gotta mention about Yapa Q
Oh,
and
Yapa
Central
Q, yeah,
Yahoo
Simka Yahoo.
and hold on. Oh, you already mentioned Miss Judah. And you got a lot of more. Big K, yay. You got a lot of more. But you know what I'm saying? Hey, we putting it in. Oh, and I told him I was gonna mention it. Be on the lookout for Makello. He's dropping a new album soon.
Khan Makello, that's a cold artist right there.
Yes, sir. He
And,
dropping a
and you
new
know
album
what? Let's not
soon.
even just go. Let's not stop there. Let's not forget. We got Sister Delta. She got the magazine, the Hebrew magazine,
Oh yeah.
the light magazine, and then you got DJ Judah, DJ Taz. They out here doing their thing. They going against the different DJs in the game. You
Right.
know, you got the light magazine. You got Hebrew Hood Music. They out here promoting and doing what they can. Everybody is doing their fair part. And
Right.
none of us is getting no type of endorsements or anything. This is literally stuff that we building off our own backs. So
Right.
hey, let's pay respect to that. Then you got Meyer Israel. He does the lives and things like that, where he promotes underground music and things of that nature, the Israelite music.
Right.
Whether it be talent that's known and even unknown talent, man. You got people really out here doing the work.
Yeah. And shout out to I gotta send a couple more shouts out. They this 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 cat right here, Akanal, he been dropping some real fire out there, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta send a shout. I'm gonna work with him too in a minute.
I want to
Then
work
you
with him
got
as well.
then you got then you got you know what I'm saying? Hold on. I don't want to forget nobody. I don't want to forget nobody. Hmm. I can't think. I can't. It was right on the top of my head. Well, Paisley the Hebrew. You got a lot of people, man. They putting in some work, man. Then you got Lorvins, who yeah, me and him got a song together, and but you know he always putting in work. You know what I'm saying? Many more people, man. My mind not focused right now, but you know what I'm saying. I ain't forgot nobody. I just mentioned what I can right now.
Yeah, man. I got to start reaching out myself to more artists as well. You know, I've done a lot of things with Eminem, Yasharala, Reggie Kodesh, Solemn Prophet.
Yep.
Zakari Yazamar, you, Hondo, the Fringe Game Blue Ribbon Army family. We got Law Got Soul, Eli, Eli the producer. But I've done a few things, but I would love to work with a lot more artists. I'm gonna start reaching out more to more artists myself, especially for this album that's coming out. It's called Kingdom Falls. We just dropped Kingdom Comes, so the album that's coming out after that is Kingdom Falls, and then I have my own album that's gonna be coming out, Return of the Wolf, because I'm still on the Lone Wolf, but it's gonna be called Return of the Wolf, the Prodigal Son.
Return of the Wolf.
Yeah. So, I think that's we got big things coming up. Things is being prepared more and more. I want to give I like to give a shout out to the different camps that have kind of supported me in the group. I like to give a shout out to HOI, House of Israel. I like to give a shout out to WFI Chicago. That's the Watchman for Israel. I like to give a shout out to Alliance of Judah Jeshurun. That's LOJJ Chicago. I just want to give a shout out to all of them. Anybody else that I may possibly be missing, hey, y'all forgive me, man. It's a lot.
Oh, I gotta give a shout out to Jay Lutch and Peasy also. Yeah.
Oh man, I just got through listening to that Peasy song, that Me and the Most High.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I've been playing that like crazy lately.
Yeah, man, it's been a good episode. And be on the lookout next Shabbat, Most High willing. We gonna be talking about the New Covenant, or as some say, the New Testament. We gonna get into that, and I'm gonna let you set it up. So you gotta send me a link.
You funny. All right, we'll work it out, Hondo. We'll work it out. We most definitely work it out, man. You know, I do my classes also on the Shabbat. All are welcome to come in if they want to attend the Shabbat, but you know, I do my classes also. So we most definitely have everything set up like how we always do, man.
Yeah, I got you next week. I'm gonna be in there with you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Hondo, man. Hey, look, that was the show. I appreciate you having me on the show like you always do, Hondo, man. We doing our thing. We got to keep it going strong for Israel, man.
Oh, yeah. And before I leave, shout out to Karima.
Oh,
Karima Powell.
Big shout out. Karima Powell.
She done did so many of my album covers.
Yeah, can't forget her at all. She most definitely out here. She jumping.
She'll put in a lot of work, man. She be doing a lot of things. But, on that note, we'll catch you next Shabbat. Now I'm finna go and see what DJ Taz doing on you know what I'm saying, listen to him play some music. So on that note, shalom, and y'all have a good night.
Shalom. Good night.